One, waiting for the little ding. I heard it, and I think we have a yellow light.
Ding!
Hey, internet friends! Ding! This is Magic Brad, Synergy Cafe, Synergy Collaborative. I'm kind of laid back today. I'm at Medea's again in Asheville, North Carolina, and got my friend Damon here to a continuation of our beginner meditation series of frequently asked questions. And the question for today is, do I have to make my mind blank?
Now, careful, Brad. Don't get too laid back. It's a good thing you got that wall behind you. You don't fall over in your chair.
I'll be okay.
Good morning, everyone. And we were just having fun. I wish you got that online, but I would say that again. I would say, yeah, you got to have your mind absolutely 100% blank. And I have the perfect technique. Very simple, very effective. You take your hand like this, a fist. Okay. You see this section right here of your fist? You hold your hand in your lap, and it's a reverse hammer fist. So every time you have a thought, you smack yourself right there in the third eye like that. And then you'll be blank for a little bit, and then every time another thought comes, you smack yourself again, right?
Right? You're teasing, because we need a disclaimer on here.
No, it works. It works. Don't hit yourself too hard. Just enough. Clear that thought out.
Okay. I suppose it does. Is it like snapping rubber bands on your wrist?
Well, yeah, that too. That works.
So do you have to make your mind blank to meditate?
Do you have to make your mind blank to meditate? No, you don't have to make your mind. Good luck on that. Good luck on that one. There are monks and teachers who spend most of their life, decades, practicing no thought. It's an interesting concept because, I believe what we focus on, we create more of. And so anytime that we're focused on, quote unquote, the problem, Buddha said all forms of suffering stem from the mind. The mind is our suffering. And my experience is that's quite true. Our mind is what judges, analyzes, makes what's right and wrong, good and bad, black and white, and is distracting from pure consciousness and even our direct connection to spirit. And so, having a peaceful, calm mind definitely benefits our meditation, and a lot of people, that's their goal, is to calm their mind down so that the rest of their body can calm down. Because if our mind is super active, the rest of our body reacts to that, starting with our emotions. Our emotions follow our mind and our thoughts, but also biochemically in our body, based on what our mind is functioning both at the brainwave frequency level and the amount of thinking happening, is going to affect our ability to enjoy and benefit from our meditations. So a lot of meditation practices are focused on calming the mind or being mindful, which is sort of like detaching yourself from the thought process and like watching your thoughts and being more present with your body sensations and what's happening in your thoughts instead of being caught in them. And so it is a very long-term practice to calm the mind. And I look at the analogy, and they call it the monkey mind, is you're training the monkey to sit and be quiet. And you can do that. That's one way of doing it. And yet, what I've discovered through my 25-plus years of practice and exploring meditation and practicing in different realms, including about 7 or 8 years of a pretty devoted Buddhist Zen practice, of like basically counting my breaths and calming the mind, is that it can be effective in many ways. And then when I was introduced to open heart prayer and meditation, and I learned the power of our heart, it was like night and day. Like the ability to almost instantly calm down and to have an enjoyable experience of my meditation and to grow more spiritually. And the reason is like even in the more advanced sutras and teachings of the Buddhist philosophy, is like, okay, now that your mind is peaceful, you can begin to allow the lotus of the heart, or the chakra of the heart, to open. And then you're opening the door to deeper spiritual growth and realization, but you have to calm the mind first. Now, new science, heart math is some of my favorite in this subject, and we've talked about this a little bit before, is discovering how powerful the heart is. And even in that movie you and I watched, The Power of the Heart, from the guy of The Secret, that produced The Secret, and directed it, they're discovering more and more how powerful our heart is, both our physical and our spiritual heart, although they don't talk about spiritual heart. And the reason is the heart has a electrical frequency that's at least 10 times greater, maybe 1,000 times greater in its intensity than the brain's electrical frequency. And then our heart also has a magnetic frequency, such as our brain does as well. But our brain field, the field of magnetic resonance from our brain, when they measure it in MRA, is about 12 inches around our head. Our heart has a field that can be measured up to 8 feet from around our whole body. So just taking those two basic measurable scientific variables that would say that the heart has a much greater capacity to entrain our whole being than our brain. And then they look even at the nerve endings, the physical nerve endings, and there's twice as many nerve endings traveling from the heart to the brain. And when they look at the electrical or nerve activity traveling between those nerve endings, there's twice as much information being sent from the heart to the brain, which again would tell me that the heart is much more in control than the brain is. And then on top of that, when we watched that other piece in the movie, which I was fascinated by and was new information to me as well, when they were showing these images, these beautiful positive images of nature and babies and beautiful things, and then they'd show these horrific pictures of like people from war with wounds and very sad images or frightening like angry animals or things like that, that the brain could, the heart could anticipate what the next image was, because they put a blank screen on, and then the heart could anticipate what the next image would be by 10 to 20 seconds before the next image was shown, which says the heart has some ability in some way through intuition to know what's coming. And I make up that our heart has a wisdom, and this gets a little bit deeper. There really is no past. There really is no future. There's just now. Infinite, eternal now. And our heart is in tune with infinite, eternal now. Our brain is the organ and the computer that creates a perception of linear time and slices the eternal now into little bits of past and future and what we even call present. And so our heart is able to actually know from the eternal present now what's quote-unquote next. And actually to know what our highest destiny is for even being here in the world. So yes, it's a big conversation and a lot to talk about, but I'm making a point, and the point is our heart is like the beautiful rose garden that's in bloom. And so when we tune into and focus on our heart opening, it actually naturally entrains the brain. So even if the monkey is chattering and making all kinds of noise, we can still enjoy the beautiful rose garden. And the more we enjoy it, the less the chatter of the monkey has in distracting us, and actually will begin to actually calm the monkey down. The monkey will naturally calm itself and find more peace when we just naturally go direct to our hearts. We're just going direct. And it is a powerful, powerful thing.
Okay, so on the contrary, you don't make your mind blank. You actually focus it on something, and it replaces the chatter. I remember years ago I did some meditation with Shakti Gawain, and she had us visualize sitting at the bottom of the ocean and blowing bubbles and counted. There were numbers in the bubbles, and you counted them as they went up. So it kept you focused on the bubbles.
Right.
So what you're saying is you can concentrate on the beautiful rose garden of the heart, and that way you're not monkey mind thinking of all the other craziness.
Yes, because I believe ultimately, for me and most people, our ultimate goal is we really just want to be happy. We want to feel happy and fulfilled in our life. And pretty much every goal, including meditation, is a way to feel happier, more relaxed. Would you agree?
I agree.
So in that case, we want to go direct, because I believe in the deepest core of our heart is where our true eternal state of happiness and joy resides, because that's my experience.
Well, that's what you showed me. You showed me how to focus on the heart center as opposed to going through the head to the heart. Because as soon as you go in the head, of course, all of your memories are coming in, or
Right.
all of your thinking about all the things that you have to do in the future.
Right.
Whereas if you just go to the heart's not thinking about that kind of stuff.
Right. Exactly. It's actually tuning into our deeper joy in the present moment and being fully in the now. And so my point being that if we just go direct to the solution, which is our heart, then we don't have to focus on the problem of what our mind's up to.
Well, that is the new way of thinking on a business level and problem solving too. Is instead of doing problem solving, come up with solution creating and focus
Right,
on.
solution finding, right, yeah.
You can do that as opposed to if you go into the problem, you're just going to use the old method.
Solution focus, right? And what is it? Even Einstein said you can't solve a problem from the same state of consciousness or attitude that it was created from.
Exactly. Okay, so that's the question. Do I have to make my mind blank? On the contrary, you should, if you do make it blank, focus on just the blank.
Well, and, you know, here's the deal. Even if you do find a blank mind, you're still at 0 point. It's even just like, okay, you fixed the problem, but have you really moved forward into a solution?
Right, which comes into the visualization part. So is
Well,
there anything you want to...
what it really comes into at the deeper level is that just because you've solved the problem doesn't mean you've achieved your goal.
Sure, you just solved the problem because...
Right.
And then that problem will probably come back.
Well, or another, if you're problem-oriented, then you'll have another. So then the problem becomes, okay, my mind's blank, but now I can feel the pain in my butt is numb. So now that's distracting me.
All right.
Or the bird outside is chattering, and that's distracting me. Or the person next to me is sneezing and their nose is running, that's distracting me.
Okay, we can go down a rabbit hole on this. So let's summarize the, do I have to make my mind
come on,
blank?
we're having fun, Brad.
Oh, it is fun, but we don't want to take these people's time too much. You know, I hate going on those webinars that are 3 hours long and they wait till the very end to tell you something. They just wasted 2 of my hours that I could be doing something, I could be solving problems.
Are you getting bored already, Brad? Are you getting bored with this subject?
No, but I'm concerned about the people that are watching the video.
Okay.
I'm sure that they'll be ecstatic and just wait on bated breath to hear your next words on the next video that'll be coming tomorrow.
So you don't believe that it might serve them to feel their heart right now before we go?
It's possibly the case. In fact, if you want, we can do this for 24 hours. I got a good battery here. In fact, I got my power cord.
I don't know that we need to go to that extreme, but you know, it worked for what's his name, the happy dude.
Who's the happy dude? The guy that sang the song?
I'm happy. Yeah, they did a 24-hour recording where you just played that over and over, and they just kept doing different scenes on the hour. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's like happy 24/7. It's literally a 24-hour video.
Okay.
That was what went viral on that, was them doing the 24-hour video, the happy song.
And then they dumped a bucket of cold water on their head.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to get your thoughts off too. Just have a nice cold bucket of water next to you.
To make your mind blank. Okay, let's close this out. If you wanted to finish with anything, let's do that.
I have one more suggestion. So you can meditate sitting on the toilet, and if you start having thoughts, you just turn over and put your head in the toilet.
Okay, we gotta go.
Make sure you flush first.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
Get a little potty humor for you.
Peace, love, and happiness, and a little potty humor from Damon. You guys enjoy the rest of your life and your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow, perhaps. Okay, take care. Thanks.